What's up, spillers? Welcome back to a new episode of Tea with Tori. I'm your host, Tori, and today we have a very special guest. We have Zeta! Woo! Woo! Please tell the people who you are, what you do, just, some fabulous things about you.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm Zeta Morrison. I am an actress. I'm a model. I'm a social media influencer, content creator. What else do I do? I'm a blogger.
Okay.
I write a weekly blog every Monday, Zeta Confidential.
I actually didn't even know that.
Oh my God. Now you know.
Literally, now I have to catch up. Got to keep up with it.
Yes, you do. And then, and then I have a spin-off of it, which is the Zeta Confidential podcast. Everything is under Zeta Confidential. That's my brand. And so, yeah, I think that's all I do. Retired trapper. We're not going to talk about that.
That's not
Yeah, it's not important. Any 5-0 watching, that's a joke.
So I feel like we might as well just elephant in the room. Most people probably know you from Love Island.
This is true.
This is true.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay, maybe that's another way to introduce myself. So, you know what's so funny? People will stop me and say, "Oh, I feel like you're so familiar. Where do I know you from?" And I'll just be like, "I don't know. Where do you know me from?" I genuinely
forget that you were
I genuinely forget that is it's been what? It's going on 3 years.
Yeah.
I did it 2022 and we're in 2025. So yeah, it's going on 3 years, but I just will forget. And they'll be like, "No, it's not this. It's..." Then finally I'll be like, "Oh, do you watch Love Island?"
And they're like, "Yeah."
They're like, "Yeah." So yes, I won Love Island season 4. So that's another thing. Yes. That is another thing people may know me from. Most likely know me from. I should say. As if you know me from my one movie. Okay.
Yes, you do.
Some people do.
How did you wind up in the reality space?
I loved Love Island. Never wanted to do reality TV, ever.
Okay.
But that was the one show every time I'd watch it, I'd be like, I just want to know. I want to know the ins and the outs, what goes on. They seem like they're in that villa just living their lives and there's no one around. I just wanted to know. I was so curious about it. I also wanted a boyfriend. And I was like, what a fun way to go meet someone. That's great. I applied for Love Island UK season 8. And they wrote me back "Yeah, where's your video? Where's everything?" But then I ended up booking my first TV series in Kenya called Crime and Justice. So I was middle finger up to anything. That's not that. That's
Literally.
My dream. That's my whole passion. So I went to Kenya, shot that. And then when I came back to America, I was like, isn't there a Love Island USA? I need to look into that. Looked into it. Put in an application, found a casting director, DM'd the casting director, got a call the next day, got straight into meetings with the producers that same week. 3 weeks later, I was there.
Oh my God.
6 weeks later, I won the show. I didn't even have time to
process what the fuck was happening.
Yeah, I didn't even.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was just oh, you applied? Oh, you want to be on? Okay, now it's time to. Because it was late. I was one of the later ones. I think I was probably the last person
that they put on.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. But what's meant to be will be, right? Because
100%.
Yeah, I don't know. I just woke up and it was I was on a train to Santa Barbara, which they usually shoot on an island, but ours was the one season that was it. But I liked it though. I liked having this closeness to LA.
That's hilarious. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, because I also did Love Island Games.
Yes.
I was on there for 3 days. And that was in Fiji. And I was so I was so sick. And
you guys have to go to quarantine first, right?
Yes.
Before you can even go on the show. So you're there living your life for 2 weeks.
Yes. And that was the most miserable experience of my life. And I've had some miserable experiences.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to be there. I also, I had gotten offered a job with NBC to co-host something that filmed at the same time as Love Island Games. And I told them, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I was kicking, screaming, crying, throwing up. It's only my fault. I only have me to blame, but I think that's what makes it the worst, is that when you make a decision based off of what everybody else wants from you and what everybody else feels like is good for you, but you have this internal feeling in your spirit that you don't want to do it, but you do it anyway, you have no one to blame but yourself, and you have to live with that. Like, of course, I had all these people in my ear saying, do it, do it, do it. And I could be like, you made me do it. No one made me do it. I signed the contract.
Yeah.
Living with that feeling is yucky work. Yucky work. I would have taken a huge pay cut to do something I loved rather than something I didn't. But it's okay. We live, we learn. It's an expensive mistake emotionally.
Yeah.
But yeah, you live and you learn. I don't want to learn that lesson again, though. I don't want to, because I have a very strong intuition.
Learn it.
Yeah.
And you won't have to be put in a position to learn it again.
Yes, exactly. So now, always going with my intuition. If it says no, even if I don't see the physical signs, it's a no.
Do you feel like they represented you like as you truly are on the show, or do you feel like they kind of like made you into a character to fit the show?
Love Island or Love Island Games?
Both.
Or both. Love Island's, do you know what? Both of them, they represented me how I was. Okay. On Love Island USA, I was so excited to be there. I was so optimistic about finding love. I was that corny one. You know, there's so many people who are like, did you really think? Is it true? Is it real? I'm like, well, for me, I was on there like, yeah, this might be my hobby.
I feel like it more so is for the women than the men. I feel like the men are like, oh, hot girls sitting around a pool for 6
summer,
weeks.
get famous.
Literally. Mm-hmm. And the women are like, maybe I'll really find my soulmate.
Right. And the guys are like,
will you fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, you're still with your hubby. What happened with that?
Oh, God, that's such a long story. But do you know what? Just to sum it up, because it's taken me a long time to figure out what happened. Like, everyone asks me all the time, what happened? I don't think that I'll ever not get that question. Yeah. I'll probably be 80 years old and people will have stumbled upon Love Island and been like, what happened?
Grandma, what happened?
No, you can't get away from it. You know, it's a heavy part of my life. He was a heavy part of my life because I'm never going to be able to forget him because it's on national television. But he was emotionally unavailable and he didn't think the show was real. So any of the feelings that happened, I guess, for him, he just kind of had can't go there. Like, this isn't real.
That sucks.
Yeah. So he was emotionally unavailable. And I think that's the best summary I can give. Anything else he would have to answer because I truly don't get it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yeah, maybe you just didn't like me as much as you portrayed that you did like me. And then it's like, no, it's not that. I really cared about you. It's just what? We're too similar. And okay. I'm not even going to like probe you because men that like me, they just like me. There's no real excuses there. So I'm just like, bruv, like, you don't like me, move on. Say that and move on.
Literally.
You know, but then it's like, now you got to face America being like, you didn't like her? We thought you guys were in love, so you're an actor.
Literally.
Don't want that either. So it's like, no, I like you. It's just this and this and this and this and that.
You led her on to win a show or what?
Which, like what? Just say it with your chest.
There's no good answer for it,
Just say it
honestly.
with your chest, though. I wish they would just be men. You know, like every other time it's... But then when it's time to just tell the truth
to take,
and
like,
stand on business,
then it's
blase, you know.
How did you, like, go about handling that? Like, because that's very much a public breakup, essentially. Like, even if it's, like, a soft breakup where, like, you just stop posting each other. Like, how did you deal with, like, the mental, like, stress of that? Of, like, people constantly commenting, I'm sure, on your social media, like, are you still with him? Or... where is he? Why do you guys break up? Like the DMs and all that stuff that I know, like personally from my sister, like that comes with being on a show like Love Island where people feel so personally invested because they're watching it every night. It's not like a once a week show. It's like every single day they're watching you guys and they feel like they know you and they know your relationship. It's like your best friends are getting a relationship and break up. Like, how did you deal with like people still like me even today? Like I'm asking about it. It's bringing it back up. Like, how do you deal with the emotional stress that comes with that?
It's so funny because I haven't sat on a podcast to answer this question. Like I love that I'm about to answer just naturally because I've never prepped. I've never anything.
Oh, we love it. It's the tea.
I'm actually sat here like, oh shit, I'm getting into this, eh? Like, wow, okay, here we go. It was very tough from the beginning because from the beginning, he showed numerous signs that he wasn't interested in having a real relationship. And I'm just going to admit, like, he did show that. I couldn't believe it. Like, I was like, there's just no way that we had all of that. And now you don't even want to try?
Yeah.
Like, do you want to try? And then his sister came to me. He set me up with her and he was like, yeah, talk to my sister. And I was like, oh, great. You want me to meet your family? That's nice. So excited, right? She's like, so listen up in so many words. I don't know what's up with him. Like, I don't know. But like, you guys should do business. I can get you signed with this acting agency. And I'm sat there at the lunch like, huh?
You said, I didn't realize this was a business meeting.
I was gobsmacked.
I thought I was meeting your sister.
Gobsmacked, shook, didn't know what to do. Faked the funk just to get through it with her. Because can you imagine? Like, the man hasn't talked to you. He's ran off to New York. He's being very distant. The only thing that I truly regret is not immediately
cutting it.
Yeah. Just going online when people asked and being like, I don't know, he's not talking to me. I really wish if I could rewind it back, that's what I would do. I would just have aired it. But I think as women, we do this thing a lot where we want to protect the man. We do it a lot. Why?
I couldn't tell you.
What is that? I don't know. Maybe you care about them so much. You're like, I don't, and something happened with season 2 that a similar thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I can't go through this. Like, I was not ready to go through that same thing. Like, I also just couldn't believe it. I didn't believe that he wasn't ready to have a relationship. So then I told him, okay. Like, his sister told me, we all know if you expose him, he's going to get so much hate. And I wish I could say that as like, because she said that, that's why I didn't do it. I know it played a part, but it was because I was so into him that I was like, there's no way. If we can just be friends, right, and hang out outside of the pressures of being on TV, like, I just want to see who he will be in like 3 weeks or a month. Like, I just wanted to see who he was.
I wanted to leave like that door open before you like completely
shut it. Because it was just immediately after the show. I do wish that I had just told the public, this is how he's behaving. I don't know. Ask him, chat to him. We'll see, But I was very certain that we had such a connection that boys are scared. He was very much so a boy.
Yeah.
Like, and I'll stand 10 toes. That's very boy behavior. But I was very certain that we could just hang out and I could just get to know this boy outside of the show. Mm-hmm. I needed that for myself so I could come to a conclusion and be like this. Because I chose to do that, I started vibing. We started having a vibe. Same feelings on the island. He's coming over. We're supposed to be doing content. We're not. We're drinking Casamigos. I'm making him shrimp tacos. We're vibing. Like, we're having a time. And I'm like, okay. Like, I knew it. I knew he was just really scared to have immediate commitment after the show. He thought he was going to be on the show 2 weeks. Next thing you know, you've met this amazing girl and you really like her, but now you're the winners and now you have to be together. And that was just not in his plan. You know, I'm sure his plan was like, go on, get some publicity, get off and move on.
Literally. Do you feel like he thought of it more as like a business relationship? Like he wasn't like actually emotionally at the same place that you were with the whole relationship from like the show and on? Or do you feel like there was some type of switch that happened like once you got off? Like maybe he talked to the homies and the homies said like, nah, like this is just like, do you feel like there was something like you were on the island with someone and then you came back and he was someone completely different? Or do you kind of feel like you were just like ignoring the red flags?
That's such a loaded question. No, I think I don't think he became a different person after the show. I think he truly went on Love Island with a set mind. And that mind was to go on. He even told me he didn't think he'd make it past 2 weeks. So go on, spend 2 weeks, get some publicity, up my followers a bit and get off. And then, like I said, we ended up winning. And then there's a lot of pressure from the public. The only thing that was like a switch, which even, I guess I can't say that, a therapist, I won't say which one, said that she found that very psychotic, like how he switched. But as I said, when I got to know him outside of TV, he was the same person that he was on the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the lies of, you're going to get the best me when we get off the show. Like all the stuff he said on TV, he just didn't want a relationship. That's what I'll say. So was he different? No, he was that same guy that I knew on there. I wasn't like, oh my God, this guy's like this now. And he's like that. It was just like, oh wow, like you very much so don't want the relationship that you claimed that you would have wanted just for TV's sake. So it was confusing. That's what made the whole ordeal so confusing, because a lot of people are just immediately like, oh my God, show you his true colors that he didn't like you, obviously. But it wasn't that obvious.
Wasn't that black and white?
It wasn't that black and white, because it's like, you know, he even came to London with me, and yeah, he brought his sister, and then he did something that was weird. He wasn't staying with me, and then I was like, okay, this is weird.
Literally.
You know, it's things like that where you're like, this is weird, but then when we're together, like we're together. So it was very strange. It's just that's why I'm saying, for me, I wish that I had cut it off just immediately, so I didn't put myself through the roller coaster of spending that time and like connecting, only for him to keep the same mindset of, you know, I mean, we did have a moment in London actually before, which I don't think anyone knows this. We did have a moment in London before he left, and we were out with one of my friends, shout out to Will in Jovu, but we were out and we had just shared this moment, and I'm like, we need to really do this. Like, what are we doing? Like, we are just doing all relationship stuff emotionally, but then it's just you are saying that it's not. I need to know, because I need out, or I need to know. And he was like, no, I want to like give it a real shot. Yeah, it was such a breakthrough moment. And that was at the end of the trip when he had done some things that were red flag, like staying with his sister and all that stuff, where I was ready to cut it off. Yeah. Like, even though I cared so much and we had such a good time when we were together, I was like, nah, I got to cut it off. But then we had that conversation and we were just like, I was like, oh my God, see, like what I thought about continuing getting to know him after the show and him starting to trust me is happening. Like, that's all he needed. I ended up staying in London a bit longer than I think he even wanted to, because when he left, he was very much so like, I miss you. Like, he was
on it.
Yeah, he was laying on much thicker than he ever had. So I was like, oh, here it is. And then when I stayed in London for a bit too much time, he started the no texting, the distance, where I was like, oh my God, we're back to
square one.
We're back to square one. And so then I told him, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not interested in you anymore. Like, because I'm not like I said, I'm not someone who stays interested when I'm not getting it back. I lose interest like that. Like, of course, I'm a woman, a human, and I have just natural care. But like me wanting to be with you, absolutely not. So I told him I don't want to do this anymore. He said, wait till I get back and we'll talk about it. And then I got back in January, we had a conversation which he considered like a heated conversation. I'm like, it's only heated because I was calling you out for just keeping me in this rut just for your career, essentially. And when you ask, like, do I think, you know, he faked it or this or that, it's so hard for me to say yes, because the person whose eyes I was looking into and the soul that I connected with, it was very real. I think he has a lot of things that he couldn't let me in on. I think he has a lot of past traumas and everything, and he truly separated a show like Love Island from reality. And the fact that I came with that was like, I can't. Like, as much as I do like you and as much as we do vibe and we do have so much chemistry, which is what everyone saw on the show, I am not ready to be the man in your life. That's what I feel it is. Because, you know, when I'm upset, I'm like, he never liked me, he hated me. You know, it's so easy to do that. But then it's like, can someone, if he really didn't like me, he is at first I used to say actor, but that's a compliment. He is truly psychotic, like scary psychotic, like go in a mental home if he truly didn't like me. So that's not what I think it is. I think we shared like such a genuine connection, but he just wasn't man enough to be in a relationship, and he had to separate the two. So he went in like, that's a reality show, all of it's fakes. He came out with feelings and was like, no.
No, that was fake.
No, that was fake. That was fake. Like, I know we're vibing, but that's fake. As long as I can go through this being like, hey, so this is just business, but still spend time with her, still have all the fun that I have with her, still travel with her, still meet her family, still do all of that stuff, but then not have the responsibility of a boyfriend and a man. I think that's what he wanted. He wanted all of me and the perks without being like...
Without the responsibility.
Without the responsibility, yeah. So that's my answer to that.
That makes a lot of sense.
Which a lot of people ask me, and I've just answered.
So I am partnered with Sports Research, and their focus is on telling the story of generational wellness and how wellness can be passed down from generation to generation. Would you say that your wellness journey, because it's a lot of mental health that goes into being on these reality shows, would you say that the way that you were able to get through it was something that was passed down to you from your family, or something that you kind of had to do some self-discovery on?
I went into Love Island highly prepared, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. I was just so ready. You know, even if we look back at the DM that I sent the casting director, I was like, I just have so much love to give. I'm at such a, you know, good place. And I want that. I want that for me. So I went on very prepared. I also think winning the show helped because I didn't have much backlash. Like I dealt with a very positive feedback. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I would say my family is like my rock. They're who I chat to about everything. My two not so little brothers, my mum, I'm so close to them. So I've always had emotional support when it comes to that. Love Island also gives you a therapist for 6 months after the show. So that's all lovely. And I think that helped. I'm very strong mentally, very strong person. Not to say it wasn't hard, still hard. But I didn't suffer too much. And I think that is due to upbringing and just my preparation to be mentally and emotionally okay before even indulging in something like that. Which for Love Island Games, I was not okay. Mentally, everything, I wasn't okay. And I went. And I saw the repercussions of that, of not being mentally and emotionally prepared for something and still doing it. You know, a lot of people say like, what was going on? You weren't yourself. Like, what? Who was that Zeta? Like, who is that? Like, and I was like,
I don't know.
She's a girl who was supposed to be living her dreams, co-hosting one show, but now stuck on another show. That's who you got. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
That makes a lot of sense. Though.
Yeah. And that's a part of me too. That's someone who's heartbroken from thinking that she was going to make this step in her career that she was so ready for and got forced to do something that she was on for 3 days. Made a bit of money, but I don't care.
That
like I
wasn't the
said,
point,
it
yeah.
wasn't the point. I would have taken a quarter of what I made on games to have done
the other project.
Yeah. So that mentally, there was, I don't even know. I had to get on antidepressants after Love Island games.
No way.
Because I was like, I'm not well. I need help. So yeah, I was very much so on antidepressants after games. And then more trauma happened with just in my friendships, and it was a mess. It was a ripple of bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got this mosquito bite on the show that was like right here. Just kept growing till this. I don't know if you can see it right now. I have makeup on, but it's not gone away. Like the severity of it has gone away, but it is still there. And I'm like,
crazy.
It happened, and I'm like, I remember being like, oh my God, I'm finally about to go on the show, and it was huge. You can actually see it. If you guys watch Love Island games, you'll see I have this. It looks like a mole. And I'm like, that was the manifestation of everything in my body being like,
I don't want to be here. Yeah.
Like I'm suffocating. Every day was I was on that show for 3 days, and I'm going to say something. The torture that I felt being there every single day made me feel like I understood my partner on the island season 4, because he would always be so tired. That's another thing. I was like, there's men like underground welding. I can't have a man who's tired because he was spent 6 weeks on Love Island. I can't.
Literally.
I'm used to like true alphas. Like, why am I giving you a bib because you're that tired? He was so exhausted. But after being on Love Island games, drained to be there, not wanting to be there, which he didn't want to be, I was like, this is why that man was depleted. Because when you don't have the energy for something, every day is agony, is torture. Like you're putting on. I realized, I'm like, oh, he was just fully putting on that whole time and just hated being there. I finally understood him. Not to say it's right, but I finally understood him after I went on games. 3 days, I could have sworn to you I was there for, and I'm going to be honest about how long I could have sworn to you I was there, not just throw out some random number. I could have sworn to you I was there for at least 2.5 weeks. Those 3 days.
That's crazy.
Miserable. Like literally laying up in bed like this, just waiting for the morning to come. Morning comes, literally feel like wanted to go throw up in the bathroom. I was hiding from everyone all the time until they needed me on. Like one of the clips, I was like, fuck all these islanders. And someone like, I don't remember, but someone was like, oh my God, Z.
You said, I hate everything that's
I
involved.
hate everything. I hate everyone. I just wasn't myself. The producers say that. They're like, you're working yourself. I'm like, so why'd you force me to be on the fucking show? That's another story. I'm no storyteller.
Yeah. You're like, that was great.
No, I'm like, yeah, great. Could have been living my dreams. But yeah, mentally wasn't well after Love Island games. Got on antidepressants. I always welcome therapy. Always. I do feel tricked, however, because I kept telling the therapist on games, I don't want to be here. I got to go. But, you know, their job is to
keep you there.
And boy, does she do her big one. Because I would literally be about to storm the fuck out every day.
That's crazy.
And they would make me go talk to her and it would dial me back in. If I could have just done one day and gone, I would have been very happy. Yeah. Did not care. Yeah. But yeah. Got on antidepressants. I'm now off them because I love a holistic life. But if I ever need to get back on them again, I will. I'm very much so like...
I believe in
the power of modern medicine. I believe if you can do things holistically, you should do your absolute best. But if you cannot, take the meds. Very much so.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you've talked about your dreams and your passions. Do you have anything that is coming out that the spillers should be looking out for or aware of, or anything you want to promote
I would love to promote my new Zeta Confidential journals.
Ooh.
They're called Confidentially. They're a mental health journal, and it's a spiritual book. Like it's supposed to guide you, and there's pages that you can write out all your thoughts in the back, but it has Monday through Sunday, and 2% of every sale goes towards children's hunger initiatives, which is huge to me. Like, my mum's like, girl, your whole childhood you were crying over the fact that there's kids hungry. Like, I couldn't stomach it to know that. So that's heavy on my heart. So anytime someone buys one of the journals, you are supporting that. And then, yeah, I mean, anything else is kind of like my Shayla that I don't want to talk about. And I hope that everyone will just see it when it or they come out. So yeah, just keep watching this space, I guess. But it's really my journals. Those are like my most proudest moment, because a lot of times in my life, I feel like I haven't finished what I've started. Mm-hmm. And that was something that was so nerve-wracking for me. I'm like, no one's going to buy it. No one's going to, and it's so scary. But I did it. Took me a year and a half, 2 years.
Hey.
But they're here. They're out. So I'm very proud of that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining today and being so open and honest and spilling your
Tori,
tea. And
like, I was not like,
you weren't prepared. I love it.
If anybody was going to get this scoop, it's you. There is no one that I would have chat to about this stuff. No one was going to hear nothing about that anymore.
I saw that moment where you're like, oh, that's a really long story. And you're like, I'm going to tell the story.
And then I was like, you know what? It's Tori. Like, I'll do it for Tori. So, yes.
I love it. Thank you guys so much for watching, my lovely spillers. The light in me recognizes the light in you. Thank you